Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of Highly Talkative, where we get high in conversation and discuss many topics from personal to community to anything that's going on in the world. So sit back, get cozy, and let me talk to you. Let's go. All right, what's up, my good people? It's your girl, Millie, back with another episode. Today is Monday, May 4th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, Cinco de Drinko. I cannot wait for that. I already have some things planned with some of me and the football moms that are maybe my sister. So we'll see how that works out. I have a few things I want to talk about. Although my son did not have games this weekend was still pretty busy, but also pretty productive. So the things on the list that I'm going to talk about. Are you the friend to others that you want them to be for you? I started working out last week. Okay. Having more patience now than I did before. That's with kid situations and anything else. Everything motherhood and being a mom of 3 and having a 6-week-old, and that's with like the saddest face because where is the time going? Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson, positive thinking or thoughts, and then promoting myself here as of lately. So you guys hear that fan in the background? I'm frying fish right now. I don't want my house to smell like fish. So the first topic: are you the friend for others you want them to be for you, right? And that's do you support your friends, and do your friends support you? And do you show up for them the way that you want them to show up for you? So with that being said, let's say your friend's son has a basketball game. Do you show up to their basketball game, and would you want that same support in return, or does it not matter to you? And does that play a big role on who you really consider to be a friend and who you don't? For me, supporting my kids is a really big thing, but I also understand that, everybody has lives and we have more things to do than to just I don't know, be out of the house. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but a lot of people have things that they need to take care of before they can come out and support you, especially if it's on a weekday or something. But I know I have friends who have kids who do lemonade stands, or they're a part of basketball games or different basketball teams, and they show up for my kids. So I want to make sure that as much as I can, even with as much as I have going on, I try to do the same thing in return. I just feel like that's important because I don't want to have a one-sided friendship. And I kind of say this because in my last episode, I was kind of touching bases on past friendships and stuff like that. And I really just came to the realization that, I had a friend who I felt like she really did support me in many ways. And I don't think I showed that same support in return. And not that it was on purpose or anything, but it was just the simple fact of, in my head, I was busy, but you can never just be too busy for a friend. I don't know how to explain that, but also she showed up for my kids to an extent. If they had basketball games or football games, she did show up, and needless to say, that actually did mean a lot to me because, like I said, you could have so many other things to be doing, but instead you came out to support me and my kids, or my kids, and that just means a lot. So I think that also thinking about that has made me understand that, that's a big role in people's aspect of friendships. So it also kind of just made me understand where I kind of lacked in that friendship, and, just learn to do better. And what does a good friend look like, right? So for me, a good friend looks like somebody I can really confide in and understand that you're not going to go tell my business. No matter how juicy the business is or anything like that, I can 100% believe and feel in my heart that you're not going to take that information and go run and tell somebody else as soon as you get off the phone with me, or even if the opportunity presented itself. That's a major thing for me. I really need to be able to trust the people that I'm dealing with in my life, because there are a lot of things that go on in my life that I just feel should really be taken seriously and be very mindful of. Just like I wouldn't take my friend's business and go run with it and try to tell somebody the moment that I can, or use your story to try to relate to somebody else. Y'all hear that? That's that catfish going in. Hello? I've been fucking some catfish up here lately. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Um, so sidetracked. That's the ADHD in me. But that's just important. And then the last kind of topic under that is, in what ways do you automatically show up with no questions being asked? So, example, I have a friend that if I were to, let's say, be running late from work or have a really late meeting and I just can't do something, like I can't get my sentence practice on time, or I can't make it somewhere in time, I can definitely reach out and just be like, hey, I was going to do this per se, but this came up instead, so I really need to focus on this. But also just wanting to do it without even it being a thought in my mind, like supporting my friends or their kids in ways that they don't even have to ask. So if you're out like fundraising or something for a different team, or if you're having something at the house for your kid, like a birthday party or something, it doesn't necessarily have to be about like the materialistic things. I want to be able to be a part of that core memory where your kid's like, yeah, I remember Miss Ashley came and did this, or, whatever. So I think that that's a really big part in friendships, just automatically showing up for your friend without it having to be questioned. Me being sick, and like when I was pregnant, prime example, or when I had my baby, I didn't have to really much ask for help those first couple of weeks. It was kind of just a given for them to really help me. Like the first day I came home, I wasn't really expecting as much of a hands on as some of my friends did, but carrying stuff up the stairs for me just so I didn't have to because of my C section and all of those things. So just automatically showing up without having to be asked, I think is also like a major role that's played in being the friend for somebody that you want them to be for you. Because I feel like that love should be reciprocated, and I shouldn't have to come to you and discuss those things with at the age that we're on now about how important that is. And I do also understand, not everybody understands that aspect. So some people do need to be able to have that conversation like, hey, I see myself showing up for you in many, many ways, but I also feel like the same thing isn't given in return. And I just, I'm not comfortable with that. And real friends listen and they understand and they take in that information, and it just helps build your friendship. And this kind of just came to my mind, but do you expect you out of your friends? So, like the way that I just explained myself in being, I'm not going to say I 100% expect the same thing out of my friends, but I will also say that I expect it in some aspect. Like, I don't want to have to beg or ask for things, for certain things, like supporting my kids. Like, there are times where I'll go to like our group chat and I'll be like, hey, my son has a game this day if you guys want to show up. But I also understand if they don't show up. It's not like a big thing to me. But I also really do appreciate the friends that are like, hey, I know your son is on this team or what have you, send me their schedule. Let me see if I can make it to some of their games. I know I appreciate that. And I know my kids really appreciate that because, again, like it just shows love. It just shows us both how our support systems really show up. And again, it's appreciated. My next topic was starting to work out. I started working out last week. It did feel really good, but my eating habits are still very terrible. So I'm really trying to get that in check. And I'm also trying to factor in doing more pelvic exercises throughout the week. Like I may lift 4 days out of the week, but I need to do like pelvic exercises as well as core exercises Monday through Sunday, even if it's something light. I slacked off on that last week, and I think I'm going to try to make that a goal this week. Take it a step at a time, not really overwhelming myself. And I think the thing that really finally made me get up to do it was just the fact that I missed having a simple routine for myself. And working out was literally just a routine for me. It was something that assisted with my mental as well as my physical, but more so my mental because I could literally just get in the zone and just, I guess, like meditate in a way and get all my feels out. And like having a shower, I guess you could say, is like my my thinking process is way different when I'm working out and lifting weights and just having that real time to myself. And I also feel more productive when I work out. When I don't work out, I do feel accomplished because of the task that I get done within that time. But my body feels so sluggish, and I just feel like unmotivated, and like I really don't do much if I don't get that first initial workout in. And I don't care if it's first thing in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon, but as long as I get something done before like 6 o'clock that day, I'm feeling very productive, very motivated, especially if I'm knocking out my to do list. Um, so I just feel like I want to continue doing that. Right now, I'm just working out at home because, like I said, my baby's going on 7 weeks. I can't believe she's about to be 2 months old. I mean, it's a week out, but still, like, holy shit, time really flies. But working out at home also has its ups and downs because I'm, taking care of baby girl still while working out. But I can still get my workout in. And I burn a lot of calories. I will work out until I burn at least 350 calories. I kid you not. That's at home or in the gym. And I'm constantly moving around. So I think that really helps me when I'm at home because I incorporate her into my workouts as well. But I would really love to be able to just get a workout in uninterrupted and, just get going. But it's all a work in progress and I cannot complain. I'm very thankful for what I've been able to accomplish this far. And then having more patience now than I did before, and that's with like kids situations, talks, like anything. I've noticed that I'm able to truly understand when I'm overstimulated and like certain things I can do to assist with that. Um, and that factors into me having patience with my kids and being overstimulated is a real like it's a thing. Let's be real. I know a lot of people are like overstimulated, whatever, but me being overstimulated is, just taking care of your kids, cooking dinner, getting laundry done. Like, let's say Sunday. I had a lot of stuff to do on Sunday. I made my to do list, but I was able to successfully get everything done. But there were times where I was overstimulated, but I also allowed myself that patience as well as, how do I say this? Being patient with my kids as well. And again, shout out to my support system because I felt myself getting overstimulated and I was just like, hey, you know, I have to leave the park. I still have to go to the store and get stuff for dinner and pick up certain stuff. Would you mind if my son took a ride home with you and, you could just meet me at the house? And that helped with my patience because my son really wanted to stay at the park as to where I really needed to go. So he's like begging me and getting all teary eyed. And I think like old me would have got a little frustrated because I'm like, listen, this is what I said. This is what's about to happen. Please don't fucking piss me off, right? Like, let's be real. I feel like that sometimes when my patience is running thin, but I was able to regroup and understand that I was overstimulated and understand what I needed to calm those nerves and be more patient with my kids as well as myself. And I was able to successfully de escalate the situation, I guess you could say. And then it's like, what does having patience truly look like for me and for you? And that kind of just goes into what I just spoke about, like knowing how to diffuse certain situations when I said no, but my kids are steady begging me for that yes. Like even with my oldest, I let him stay out this weekend because again, I feel like I don't really allow him to do or go many places. Just yeah, that's a whole different subject. But he had asked, I told him what time he needed to be home. And then around that time, maybe an hour before that time came, he asked if he could stay longer. And I almost got really upset, but then I came to the realization, like, girl, you're still out. You're probably not even going to be home by the time that you're asking him to get home. Like, give yourself more time to do what you got to do at home without having to fuss at the kids or, you know, do this or that. So, yeah, you can be home at this time. I already asked them to drop you off. Problem solved. Like, there's no need for me to get upset and start fussing because you're asking for more time to be out when I already gave you the time that you needed to be home. But in reality, I'm not even going to be home then either. So compromising, I guess you could say. But there are also times where it's like I said, what I said, the answer is no. please don't piss me off, right? Um, and I'm working through it, and I feel like that's very important, and I love it. Like I love the self growth that I see in myself, especially with going to therapy. Again, I'm a big advocate for therapy. If you can go, please do go, even if you just try one session and just see how you really like it for yourself. I'm a big advocate for therapy. Like I would just feel like it's an amazing thing. Now, enjoying motherhood and being a mom of three, which is a lot, but it's not really. I'm starting to get the hang of it. But also having a 7 week old, like it's a lot, but I'm very proud of myself for the way that I'm handling it. And I was also talking to one of my other mom friends, and I was just like, you don't really understand how fast time flies by until you really have kids. Because I feel like just yesterday, I had her. I feel like just yesterday, I was pregnant. I feel like just yesterday, my son shouldn't be the age that he is now. He just turned 9, and I'm just like, holy fucking shit. Like, you were literally my baby. I literally feel like I just had you too. Where is the time really going? And then not to factor in like the sports and the schedules that they have going on, like it literally eats away at the time. So I'm just like, I'm really trying to enjoy all these moments and bask in all the joy and love and the feelings and the lessons learned, because you can't get time back. So I'm really just trying to enjoy it. And then school drop offs and pickups as a mom of three with a newborn. It's like hit and miss. Sometimes it's really good, and then sometimes I'm just like, holy fucking shit, I need a minute. Like, I don't know how y'all moms are out here doing it, but a bitch like me, I need a second. I need to really figure out what the fuck I'm doing with life, because is this real? Like, am I really doing this? But like, thankfully, my youngest gets out maybe 35 minutes before my oldest gets out, but we also live pretty close to my oldest son's school. So I'm just like, if you need to walk home, you can walk home. Like, I'm really just not getting more lenient, but allowing him to explore more of himself and like understanding certain aspects in life, which walking home, I think, helps with that. So I know like last week I let him walk home twice, I want to say, or maybe 3 times, because sadly the AC in my vehicle went out. So I was not trying to sit out in that hot ass Texas heat and wait in the car for 35 minutes while he was about to get out of school. Now I could have climbed my ass in the back seat with my youngest son, because the AC in the back was still working, whereas the AC in the front was not. But I was just like, this is too much, and again, overstimulating me, but also figuring a workaround. So again, proud of myself for that. Um, Sports life, like I said, and all its schedules, it's crazy. My youngest right now is in 2 sports, and he has games twice a week. Um, he has 2 games on Saturday, 1 game on Wednesday, and then football is like right around the corner. And then my oldest son started golf, so it's like he has games on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so it's literally like game after game after game for me. I think is like literally Mondays and Wednesdays are the only breaks that I get. Sundays are sometimes dedicated to football camp, and I'm just like, again, time flies when you always have something to do, and then being a mom with a newborn, it's like really hectic. And I'm learning the ways, and I'm proud of myself, like I said, because I could be very much more overstimulated than what I am, but I'm going with the flow. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm also trying to make sure I'm allowing myself enough time to, like, pump or feed her or make her a bottle, certain things like that, because when football season actually gets into full effect, we might have to travel 2+ hours to football games, and somebody's going to have to be in the back feeding her where I'm driving, because I can't pull over and feed her. I mean, I could, but that'll take away the time, or allotting myself enough time to really get on the road and travel and have enough time to pull over for 30, 45 minutes if I need to, just to feed her. So all of that has just been like a little stressful, even just thinking about football season starting and where I'm at in sports right now with my youngest and my oldest together. You know, like I said, it can be very stressful, but at the end of the day, I kind of signed up for this. I don't want them to just sit around and do nothing at my expense, because, I decided to be a single mom of three. So I'm really just again, going with the flow. Um, and it's stressful, it's rewarding, it's time management, it's a lot of patience, it's a lot of overstimulation, but I'm really working with it. And I'm also like able again to talk to my therapist about certain things to really help me navigate how I feel when it comes to certain things and understand that my feelings are valid. My feelings are giving me messages or signals as to what the emotions coming about are, and then just being able to really work with it. Okay, now this next topic, let's be for real. Because for those of y'all who know me, I love me some Megan Thee Stallion. Like, even the fans out there that love her too, like, we're all one and the same. I fucking love Meg. Not Meg can't do any wrong in my eyes, but it's just certain things where I'm just like, shut the fuck up when it comes to her. Even though I don't even really, like, I don't personally know her, but y'all know how it is when you have that one celebrity that you really fuck with. Okay, so as most of my listeners know, and for those who don't, Megan Thee Stallion was dating a basketball player named Klay Thompson, right? From a cryptic message that you posted on her Instagram story or something like that, Klay Thompson supposedly cheated on her. But instead of me seeing, support for her or men asking like what the fuck is wrong with him or anything down those lines, it's like it's a her fault type of thing. Like it's her fault that that Klay cheated on her, and look at the type of woman she is. That's why she got cheated on. I knew Tory Lanez wasn't lying, but you get all of that because somebody else cheated on her. That makes no sense to me. So it's like I see all these men talking about it, and it's to the point where I'm just like, one, I can see why you don't have a girlfriend because you clearly hate women. Two, who the fuck hurt you? Was it your mom? Was it your previous girlfriend? Like somebody had to have hurt you for you to be going in on women like this. And it's not just her, but I see them going in on a lot of females, and I'm really just what's the big deal with you, buddy? And like you want to have a female, or you always talking about how women ain't shit, or how you I don't like how you don't have nobody to go home to, or certain things like that. But like, let's be real, look at the fucking way that you talk about women, or how you degrade women, and you think a woman is going to want to be around that. Makes no sense to me. So again, in my head, I'm like, if you're gay, just say that, because there is no way that this man had Coco Jones, Megan Thee Stallion, Laura Harrier, and I probably pronounced her last name wrong, let's be real, but you cheat on all of them, but somehow Megan is the problem. Like, where was this energy? You know what? I'm not even going to say that, because unless the woman absolutely did something wrong, like cheated on him first, then okay. But why is it that it's her fault that he cheated on her when we don't even know the full story? And how the fuck do y'all get that Tory Lanez is innocent based off of Megan Thee Stallion being cheated on by Klay Thompson? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then it's also like she's damned if she does and she's damned if she doesn't, right? Because she didn't cheat on him. She, from my understanding, didn't do anything wrong to this man, but yet she's getting dragged through the mud. But had she cheated on him, she still would have get dragged through the mud. So I'm really like, what do y'all want from this woman? Okay, because at the end of the day, she's, like I said, she's damned if she does and she's damned if she doesn't. Because how are y'all coming at this woman like this, and she's the one that got cheated on? It makes no sense to me. And then it's like, has anybody, I haven't seen from my algorithm and from the friends that I have on my Facebook, let me put it like that, because I do get on like Instagram and X from time to time, and I'll see like a little bit of posts talking about her, but then I mean like supporting her, but then I'm seeing majority of the posts like, oh, Clay's not worried about her, or this is what she gets, or look at all the men that she's ran through, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, what the fuck does it have to do with anything? That's like me getting arrested and then you telling me that what I did when I was 5 is factoring into why you're arresting me right now. Why does that fucking matter? Especially if it was a one time offense. Why are you trying to compare my past to what I am right now when clearly I'm not the same person? And that might have been a bad comparison, but in my head, it's something like that. Because again, he's the one that's doing wrong, and you're bringing up my past. Like it makes no sense. But whatever, the world's gonna do what the world's gonna do, and we can't do anything but just sit back and really observe, watch, and laugh. Because again, what the actual fuck? Okay, so like my thinking lately has been a lot more positive. I'm not going to say like I had a whole bunch of negative thoughts, but as of lately, my thinking has become a lot more positive. And I've also think it factors into this therapy trick that I seen while watching Teen Mom Reunion, where one of the therapists was basically like, you have to change things up in your life in order for you to start thinking differently. And it can be something as small as your toothbrush is usually on the right. Well, put your toothbrush on the left side, and that helps trigger something within your brain to assist you with thinking slightly different. And I can say, like, I do this every now and then, especially on Sundays when I'm resetting my house. I will do that. I'll move like my toothbrush on the opposite side. I'll switch around like my cleaning stuff, and maybe um, move my body wash from where it originally was, just so I can really try that out. And it works for me. Like this past week, I've noticed how I've been doing a lot of thinking, but the thinking that I've been doing is in more of a positive way. Like I was able to use Chat GPT more to my advantage. I would usually go into the prompt and like ask basic stuff, but I was able to go in and really dial into what I wanted to ask. And I noticed that with my way I was thinking and the prompts I was putting into Chat GPT, I was actually generating a lot more followers and viewers than I previously was. And I think, again, that all falls into the reasoning as to why, like, me moving my things around helped with my thought process. So I was really proud of myself because, again, it was just something that I was able to do differently and see better results from. So I just want to continue to progress in that way. And it also helps me feel a little bit lighter in the midst of things being heavy. And when I say that, I just mean like being able to think more rationally and more positively. Even though sometimes I think the cup is half empty, I see it as being half full because things could be a lot worse than what they are. And I feel it in the universe that, there is a shift or a change that's coming. So I just have to keep reminding myself that that's happening as long as I'm continuing to do the work, which is, promoting myself and learning more, which in factors into like me being better at certain things and just really building my skill set more so I can receive better. And then I think it also helps with like motherhood and all the struggles that come with that. Because, like I said, even with me being overstimulated and working on my patience, me being able to think more positively about situations helps. Again, example at the park when I could have just been frustrated and took my son, I was able to really think and say, actually, open up your mouth and see if somebody can just bring him home. That way, you can get home and do what you need to do and not be bothered, but not be too overstimulated with everything that you have going on, as well as making him happy with him being able to be brought home later and still hang out at the park with his friends, as well as understanding that you have a support system. All you have to do is really open your mouth. So the positive thinking and the changing around of things is really helpful. And I also think I might try to do that with my kitchen this week. Yeah, I think I might just like move certain things around just to see how it helps me with my thought process. And I, like I said, I really connect the two together. Switching things up and my mind in the way that it processes things. Um, I'm really going to pay attention to that and see like if I just switch my oven area around and switch the sides that things are on, and just really pay attention to the way I think this week. And that just goes into like me thinking about my kids or certain situations that I might fall into or better ways to promote my business. Then that's going to help me. And I really want to challenge you guys to kind of do the same thing because I think it's a great tool. And like if you're really going through something and you just don't know how to process your emotions, I feel like that's a great start. So, me thinking differently, I also expressed how like that falls into being able to promote myself a lot better. So, my promoting lately, it's just become a lot easier for me. I'm trying to post something once a day, if not twice a day, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm really in your face with it. I'm even tagging my personal Facebook page just so I can get more exposure as well. At first, I was like, ooh, I don't really know if I want people to really connect me with my personal, like when it comes to Facebook, but I've realized like girl, you got a lot more friends on your personal page than you do on your business pages. So put the two together and really get yourself going. So that's what I've been doing lately. And I remember last week I made a post on Facebook for my podcast sharing a flyer, and I got a pretty good engagement amount, which in return resulted in me having more listeners for my podcast. And when I checked RSS, I realized that my analytics for my views and much more had went up. So in my head, I was really like, okay, this is something that you really need to just stick with. I know it might be like little tedious work or whatever, but in the end, it's going to result in stuff that you want it to result in, which is more exposure, more followers, more viewers, more money in the future. Like, let's be real with that. So I just want to make sure that I'm really feeding into myself and really promoting myself in that way because, like I said, me learning how to use ChatGPT a little bit better and giving better prompts for myself to make statuses or flyers has really been a big help for me. And I do want to say, this is like a side note, that I was using the free version of ChatGPT at first and it was okay, but I couldn't make as many images as I would have liked to. So I had to upgrade that. And I think I'm on like the $8 a month subscription, which is okay for me right now because I'm still learning how to use ChatGPT and the prompts and everything else, and not really have it in my business, but help my business, if that makes sense. Because let's be real, AI be all up in your shit. You ask it to do something for you out of the woodworks, and it you don't even have to really put in like too much information about yourself, and it can still give you a lot of information about yourself. Like I seen that there's this prompt that's going around where it's like Chat GPT, make an unhinged bio about me, and it will literally give you like a whole bio of yourself and the things that is basically learned from you, not with you just being in the app, but the background app and like how the app uses the background information and still pulls from your phone to be able to kind of give you a bio about yourself. And honestly, I don't even think I'm not even going to try that because don't tell me how much you've been in my business because at the end of the day, I might stop using you. And then I've also started to make agreements when it comes to me having guests on my podcast because let's be real, I don't want shit to come back and bite me in the ass later on down the line, and I'm just now getting started. So when I'm having guests come on, I'm literally either going to send them the agreement and let them sign it and then send it back to me, or I'll have like a pen and paper and you can sign this agreement and we'll go from there. And that'll also help me, better assist myself when it comes to my other business, which is the Keep It Stashy, and being more organized. Like I'm already organized, but how would just be able to assist other companies with certain things like this, like, business agreements, contracts, employee handling, like being able to really organize all of that in a structural way for anybody, not even anybody, but in a more structural way for a manager or a CEO or somebody to really follow if that's what they're interested in. Now, speaking of Keep It Stashy, for all my small businesses out there, even if you have a big business and you're listening to this, Keep It Stashy on Facebook as well as Instagram. There's is a business that I have where I am basically really helping you with the background support of things to assist your forefront of your business to be successful. So if that's social media handling, documentation handling, a little bit of onboarding, if you terminate an employee, like what your termination process looks like, and being able to get that information out to your employee to help you cover, your tracks and all of that. That's something that I can assist your business with, being more organized so you don't have to worry about that as well as running your business. So again, Keep It Stashy is the business for you to assist with keeping all things organized and keep your business growing. And it's just something that I'm very passionate about as well. And of course, I will always ask for maybe 2 to 3 meetings before we actually hit the ground running and you give payment, because I want to make sure we're understanding what your structure for your business will look like and how documentation for your business is going to look. And if I send you something, then you're able to really fully follow through with it. Or if you want me to make an agreement for you, you need to read over it and understand that any agreement that I will have is always going to ask for a notary, because I don't want it just to be a two-party thing. Like, I want it to be something that somebody was able to really look over, ask what this is for, and get it notarized. So you can't be like, oh, I didn't even know that I signed something like that. Like, how didn't you know when there was a notary involved and they have to see both parties sign this agreement? So what are you really saying here? Okay. But again, Keep It Stashy on Facebook as well as Instagram. Please, all my small businesses, even if you're a major business, please look into that and, you know, touch base with me if this is something that sounds very interesting to you, because I would love to help your business succeed and grow, as well as succeeding and growing myself. Um, and then, we're going to cut it there. Well, you don't know, but we're going to go ahead and cut it there, because I feel like I talked about everything that I needed to talk about. You know what? I lied. I was gonna have some guests on my podcast, and I need to reach back out to him because he kind of flaked on me. So I think I'm gonna reach out and just one time reach out and see if this is still a go, because I think it'll help promote them a little as well as promote me, because their name, I'm not gonna say holds weight a lot, but a lot of people in my area know who they are. So I'm going to reach out to them and try to get them on my podcast and see how that works. And there's also an artist that I want to reach out to again and see what her schedule is looking like to be a part of my podcast, because I have some questions for her. But of course, if you're interested in being on my podcast, and it can be via Zoom or it can be in person, please email me at highlytalkative@gmail.com and let me know like your dates, times, and what you would like to talk about, or if you're interested in joining. Also, if you have any feedback or, any love or suggestions that you would like to give to me, highlytalkative@gmail.com is the best way to do that. With Keep It Stashy, please go follow on Facebook at Keep It Stashy, follow on Instagram at Keep It Stashy. And again, if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that needs the services that I provide with Keep It Stashy, send them my way. Or even if it's you that are like, you know what, my business is a little messy, let me reach out to her and see what she's really talking about. Let's do that. And you can reach out to me at documents@keepitstashy.com. Again, that's documents@keepitstashy.com. And again, I'm always willing, able, and always happy to assist with growing your business. And as always, y'all, remember, you can follow me on all major streaming platforms. You can listen to me on all streaming platforms as Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. And you can go to rss.com and also select the streaming services that you would like to listen to me on there. Y'all run it up for me as always. You guys have been doing a really great job thus far, but let's really get me out there, because I think the goal one day, and I won't say it has to be next year or the year after next, but the 5-year goal for me in this is to really be on the Breakfast Club and, express how far I've come with the support that I've received, and, maybe even be a part of the Black Podcast Effect, I think it's called. I have to look into that again, but Charlemagne holds this like every year in April, and it's for like a whole bunch of podcasters and upcoming podcasters. So the love that you guys have been giving me thus far has been great. Please continue to run it up. If you know a friend that loves podcasts, send them my way. Send them to me. Let them listen to me, because the more support, the better. The more feedback, the better. Y'all have a great week. Y'all have a great Monday. Don't let nobody piss in your Cheerios. And on that note, y'all, I'm out. Love, and I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye.